Okay. What is this? Streaming painting 2 days in a row? Is it true? Is it actually happening? Let's see. Alright, let me check behind me. Yes, we are live on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So, anywhere you want to watch, welcome, welcome. I'm sorry if you hear an upset puppy in the background. She's mad because the missus is doing work upstairs and cannot be disturbed. But we're definitely going to be getting back to doing more work on the Brutalis Dreadnought. Welcome in, welcome in. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you for the likes, Jack Pop-Tart. Much appreciated. Let me get my painting supplies ready. So I'm currently working on this dreadnought for my Black Templar army. So we're going to be using a lot of Abaddon Black. Let's get some more shook up. And I did a little bit of the base coating on the sarcophagus and the main chassis for the dreadnought. We're going to continue working on that tonight. But now that the base is completely dried, I think we're going to start working on the feet and legs, get that painted up, and just keep going up from there. So usually when I paint minis, I look for parts that I can't really get to while I'm painting. Like if I cover it up with another piece, like the front of the legs here, the top of the foot, you know, if that armor piece is on there, you know, you can't see all the details under that. It's very hard to get those painted, so I leave everything off. Finished my Redemptor Dreadnought for my Ultramarines a while back, currently working on Tyranids. We'll have fun with those bugs. Good evening, Creed Sniper. Hey, Horde, how's it going? Good to see y'all. Hope everyone had a good day today. I know it's rare that I do painting 2 days in a row, but it's happening tonight. D&D got canceled last night, so I had to do something. So I went live, painting the dreadnought. Doing good. So still busy at work. A Black Templar Starforge cap has arrived. I don't know what that is. I'll have to check out your page to see if you've added it on there to know what you're talking about. Yeah, like I said, I will check that out. I got home from work tonight and was dealing with a sick puppy because she likes to eat things in the backyard that she's not supposed to eat. Official 40K merch. Okay. I will definitely check it out. But the wife needed a break from the puppy, so she was down here somewhere. Very upset that I won't let her upstairs. But, like I said, we are doing more work on the dreadnought, and I'm going to try out a new larger brush because this is a very big model that needs a lot of paint on it. So I'm going to start base coating on here. So you're in with the Templars now. You're on your way to fulfilling your duty, killing the mutant, purging the heretic, all that good stuff. Let's get some paint on the palette. Your duty is death. I really need to spend some time, actually memorizing that, whole spiel. Now the big puppy has come back into the office and assumed his position on his couch. I should really set up one of my extra cameras to like show the puppies while they're relaxing in the office with me. Currently working on Ultramarine Salamanders, Black Legion, and Tyranids. Yep. You know, fortunately for me, I have very limited fun time income, especially because I'm planning a big trip this year. So I have to be financially responsible. But Iron Hands definitely sounds cool. I need to do some more time delving into, more Warhammer lore. I've gone into quite a bit of the Black Templar lore, which is why I ended up picking the army, because the Templars just sounded cool to me. They don't like Bobby G Man's stupid rule book, and they're like, nah, we're going to do our own thing. Crusade. But at the same time, I'm glad I got on early enough for Creed to hop in here, at least for a little while. Unfortunately, I have been busier at work. I'm training a new guy, so I haven't been able to catch you live if you've been live this week. Oh, this is so much nicer than the teeny tiny brush I've been using on this guy so far. Using this wider brush. Make sure you thin your paints. Do 2 thin coats or more, however many it takes. But I will have to get a finer detail brush to get into all the little nooks and crannies. Working on Black Templars. I had one over here somewhere. Maybe I put him away. Oh no momento. Well, this isn't the one I was looking for, but here's one of my nearly completed models. I need to clear coat him and finish his base after I clear coat him, but trying to make all of them look as nice as this guy. But yeah, just trying to get some base coating slung on this guy so we can get into all the fine detail work. But I know this thing is going to take me way too long to paint, which is why every opportunity I get to sneak down to my office, I'm going to be running down here and working on this. But I knew the dreadnought was a larger model, but when I compare it to a standard Space Marine, this is way bigger than I thought it was going to be. And I'm not upset about it. All right, just trying to see what's going on everywhere. I am live on multiple platforms. Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. If you happen to make your way over to my Twitch page, I do have a permanent link set up to a Discord over there. If you want to hop into the Discord to share whatever you're working on. One of these days I will get things set up to be able to share what other people are working on. Again, thank you for all the likes. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in and saying hi. But yeah, there's a permanent Discord link on my Twitch page, same username, on pretty much every platform you can find me, also Instagram. I should probably set up some sort of link tree or something like that, because TikTok's not very good about sharing other platforms. Understandably, because they want everybody to stay on their platform, because that's how they make money. Although I do kind of regret already gluing this guy to the base, but I didn't really know what I was doing putting it together. Do I think I'll ever play the tabletop? That's what I'm hoping to do. I played the tabletop back in 5th edition. I have, a very old Necron army that I started, like 15 years ago or something like that. Since I started playing the Space Marine 2 video game, I was like, oh, I really want to paint a new army, really want to put together a new army, which is how the Black Templar army got started. And I am hoping to get enough of these guys done to get back into the tabletop. Whether I make it back fully in 10th edition or 11th edition comes out, by the time I start playing again, it'll be what it's going to be. But the goal is, yes, to start playing the tabletop again. And even if I don't end up starting the tabletop again, I will have a very cool, fully painted army regardless. So, and I have plenty of things to keep me occupied after I get this dreadnought done. I have Chaplain Grimaldus, who has been sitting in my pile of possibilities for quite some time. You can ask Creed. I've talked about it multiple times. About being like super nervous about starting to paint it, and still haven't started painting it. Still haven't even got him out of his box yet. But it will happen at some point. So I've got Grimaldus. My wife picked up High Marshal Helbrecht for me a little while ago, so I've got the High Marshal. I've got a Crusader squad fully painted. I've got my Impulsor from the Combat Patrol fully painted. I've got a unit of Sword Brothers that I still have to paint. I still have my Intercessors from the Combat Patrol to paint. Thank you for the follow, Marcus. Much appreciated. Thanks for stopping in. And I need to start remembering to talk about, the Discord and Twitch, so people can come over there and share little whatever projects they're working on. Like I said, at some point I do hope to get that set up so I can, showcase what other people are working on and give them props where they deserve it. because this is a very fun hobby. Most of the community is pretty good. You have those. Every community has those, few people that make it difficult for everybody else. But I mean, it is what it is. But as long as you're putting together minis, painting them, having a good time, enjoying the company and conversation of others, that's what it's all about. Thank you for the follow, your friendly 8th Cadian. Cadia stands. And I have several nice pieces of a dreadnought. Eventually it will be a dreadnought. And again, welcome in. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it. Sorry for the upset puppy in the background if you can hear her. She's not happy about being stuck down here, but the missus has work to do and cannot be disturbed right now. Quite literally, yes, Cadia did. Unfortunately. Oh, thank you, huh? Sorry I'm not playing the video game tonight, but I really need to get back on to painting since I've been putting it off for too long. But it has been nice playing Space Marine 2 with you, and we got the stupid matchmaking to work. Hopefully, Focus gets all that figured out and it's more reliable matchmaking. I'm still waiting to see what they do with the Horde mode. I'm definitely excited about that. I think that'll be a lot of fun and really cool. I think that'll bring a lot of players back to the Space Marine 2 video game. I don't know if people can join me. Friendly 8th. No, Ultramarines is not my favorite. The space blueberries kind of annoy me. They're too much of the Boy Scouts, too much goody two shoes. But yeah, I don't know if people can actually join me now, but like random matchmaking seems to be working a lot better than it was immediately following the most recent update. So hopefully they're continuing to fix those connection and stability issues. But I think they've been doing a good job with the game so far. So hopefully they get that all figured out and you can actually join your friends and, I could play with followers again. That would be nice. As I struggle bust my way through the operations because I don't play the game enough. But trying to get down in all these little nooks and crannies to get the primer covered up is a little pain sometimes. And I shouldn't have glued this piece on yet. I'm annoyed by my decision to do so. But that's what happens when you paint minis. Favorite faction or chapter? I don't really know if I have an absolute favorite because they're all kind of cool in their own ways. I think the most entertaining faction is the orcs, simply because, if they were smart, they'd be, very dangerous, but they're not, and they're still very dangerous. And it's just some of their rules are very humorous and things that happen. Uh, uh, Necrons have some cool rules and cool units. Trazen the Infinite is like my favorite intergalactic klepto. He's just, some of the stories about Trazen the Infinite are very humorous. Eldar, they've got some cool minis. Tau, if you really like Gundam, you like Tau. I don't know too much about the lore of the Tau, other than I do find it hilarious that they came across a dreadnought that made them question their entire existence, because the one dreadnought was older than their entire race. So, every faction has their own neat things. Like Dark Eldar have the Harlequins, which are, super assassins and live in the warp, or the warp way, I guess I should say, not necessarily the warp. Have you used the Infernal Pistol? I have used the Inferno Pistol in the game. It doesn't do as much as I would like it to. I mean, it's, limited, like on the lower damage version, it's limited to 3 shots per magazine. And it's good for, taking out like 2 or 3 gaunts at a time. But against anything bigger than that, I mean, it has the same problems the Melta does. It just doesn't do enough damage to anything. It's just like 100% ad clear, trying to get rid of the little stuff to get some breathing room. And I think the chain sword is a much better option for getting rid of the little guys, which, unfortunately, I admit I had to switch to the chainsword on my Vanguard, just for ad clear, because as much as I love the combat knife, the chainsword is just a better option, especially when you start getting into substantial and lethal difficulties. But that is just my opinion. Play the game how you like to play the game. Which is what I generally like to do. Even though I know it's not the most meta whatever. It's like, adding a Brutalis Dreadnought to my Black Templar army. I know it's not meta on the tabletop, but it fits with the theme of the Black Templar army, as in big, angry, entombed Space Marine wants to run up and hit stuff. So that's what the Black Templars are all about. Big, angry Space Marines want to walk up and hit stuff. Yeah, and just some of the Black Templar lore is really cool. Like Sigismund's fight against was it Abaddon? Basically, takes a mortal wound to, spit in Abaddon's eye. Which name? Sigismund. Sigismund is the first Emperor's champion, the first Black Templar. He is the greatest of all the Templars. I mean, he could go toe-to-toe with Primarchs. The despoiler guy. Yeah. Like, he went toe-to-toe with, I forget which one of the Primarchs, and the Primarch had to cheat to beat him. Yes, the Codex goes against the Emperor's wishes of effectively purging the galaxy of all the Xenos scum. Because, I mean, you could get it done more efficiently if you had more people. That's why we crusade. Always like that, the meme. No, little German boy, don't listen to the Black Templars. It's Codex Astartes is bullshit. Yes, that is one of the best Black Templar memes. And then, of course, you go on like Reddit or other forums, and it's always like a Black Templar is like, "Do I see heresy in here?" When somebody posts something stupid. Do I detect heresy? Thank you for the follow, Pork Rips, or Pokey Rips. I'm doing like whippets off of Pokemon. Is there a Pokemon that does that? Sorry. Yes, Nezuko. Yes, my dog's name is Nezuko. I am a massive nerd. Geneva suggestions. I mean, you know, it's not a war crime until it is a war crime. Now, I don't actually, subscribe to all of that, but I was an active duty Marine at one point, so I, definitely fall into the category of having a not quite right sense of humor. Exactly. Yes, many moons ago, I was... Oh, thank you. It's one of those kind of, confusing things because I enlisted, back in 2000? It was like, oh, I'll get some money for school and, figure out what I want to do. After that, see if I want to stay in or whatever. And so I graduated boot camp on August 31st, 2001. And we all know what happened shortly after that. Like, when I joined in, everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, well, shit. People had to go and do stupid stuff. Here I am, just like giving my age out. How old are you? Old enough to have been out of the Marines for 20 years. Actually, this June will be 20 years since I got out of the Marine Corps. Uh, Joe, I know I haven't. Thank you for your service too. Yes, the Acadians deserve thanks for their service. Although I don't think the Acadian infantry gets free food at Golden Corral once a year. Although I will say I do avoid Golden Corral. I mean, I avoid Golden Corral anyway. But definitely on that day. Oh man, it gets so ridiculously busy there. And you think, I want my free food. It's like, just you know, yeah. I mean, I'll stop into like Starbucks or Krispy Kreme and grab my free coffee and a donut or something like that. But I don't make a big deal out of it. Although I will say, in the last couple of years since I've, uh, mostly because of the global infection, they started doing like a voucher that you can come back and use later. So not everybody's crowded into one tiny little restaurant all at the same time. So you can, get your coupon and come back later. I guess that is the one, halfway decent thing that came out of all that mess. Is, the ability to deal with people less. I'm not completely antisocial, but sometimes I just don't like dealing with other people. Which, does not fit well with my current job because I'm a delivery driver, so I have to, deal with people all day, every day as I deliver their car parts. Although I did recently find out my general manager apparently follows me on TikTok and watches me stream sometimes. He told me that his wife gets a kick out of me, painting little toy soldiers. Which, this is my hobby. I enjoy doing it. Oh, thank you, Hot Dog Paints. Yeah, this is my first time trying to do cork on a base, and I think it turned out awesome. I mean, I am gonna add like grass and little shrubs and stuff later on, but it's like chunks of cork with some of the AK rough terrain, uh, medium stuff, paint stuff. I don't know what you would actually call that, and I think it turned out great. I've seen other people do it, and I'm like, I'll give it a shot, see what happens. Would that be considered as blackface? I don't think a black helmet is blackface. Otherwise, I'd be in a lot of trouble when I ride my motorcycle because I have a black helmet. I'm poor. I don't have an airbrush, so it's, a little stick with bristles and globs of paint the whole way. So yes, I will be brushing the whole thing all the way through. I am interested in getting an airbrush at some point and learning that process, figuring that out. Yeah, I know I should just get a rattle can of Chaos Black and prime with that, but I've got my big can of gray sandable primer that I've been using on this, and just it's almost gone now. So I've got a can of Rathbone, which of course is white. So hey Black Sword, how are you doing? So just for some clarification, if you see or hear me talking to somebody else, I am live on multiple platforms. Black Sword, I'm pretty sure I've talked to you before. You were doing your own custom Templar chapter, if I remember correctly. You shared your webpage with me. Yeah, custom chapter. I thought so. Yeah, you had the purples on your like tabard and stuff. That looked really cool for what you were doing. See, I try and remember everybody that comes in and says hi. Oh, no problem. I do my best, but it's sometimes it gets like super confusing. Although since you are on Twitch, there is a permanent Discord link in my Twitch about me info. So if you have like minis and stuff that you want to share or whatever you're working on, there's channels for that in the Discord. I need to figure out how to get it over on TikTok as well, so people can join, and we can share our little projects that we're working on and give each other pats on the head and say, "Yeah, it looks great." But definitely trying to build a community here and there and everywhere. Thank you for the follow, Hot Dog Paints. Much appreciated. Like I said, if you same username, Dune_Gunner, over on Twitch, like in the About Me info, there is a permanent Discord link if you want to give me a follow over there or watch over there sometime. That is an option. And like I said, Discord link is there. It is active for anybody that wants to share what they're working on and just chit chat about the hobby. And it doesn't have to be 40k. It could be Dungeons and Dragons or other tabletop mini games. I say Dungeons and Dragons. I've got my Asimar Paladin over here that I painted a few years back. I think still looks nice. Although I kind of wish my painting skill was a little bit better when I did him, but I think he looks good. But I like painting all sorts of minis. As I bounce around my office and grab minis here and there and everywhere. These are a couple the missus and I did for a painting contest at a local gaming store. This one was mine. This is the missus. We were it was like we got to see what the mini was going to be, and then It's like, when you pick up your mini, we'll give you a theme, and the theme was pastels. So we both painted these little owl bears in pastel colors, and I think they turned out pretty nice. We're just, because the game shop that did that is like an hour away. We're waiting for another take-home contest. I think it should be next month that they do another one. So if you're in the Kansas City area, Tabletop Games and Hobbies and the Cardboard Corner Cafe is the game store that does those contests. So if anyone is interested in those and lives in the local area, I know, there's people from all over the place. I was talking to somebody from Saskatchewan last night. I've been, friends with another guy from Rhode Island that does miniature painting and plays video games. I helped him with a 24-hour stream, Josh the Mad Titan. I don't think he does TikTok, though. I know, maybe he does. But he's a pretty cool guy. We had a good time on that stream. He was doing like a 24-hour stream because he'd gotten like 500 followers or something like that on Twitch. So helped him celebrate. And he also did a giveaway, which my wife won some Chaos Knight War Dogs. I didn't win anything. Well, I won the experience of helping him with this 24-hour stream. I still had a good time. All right. I'm not seeing any gray spots left on these guys, or on these legs. That's immediately noticeable. So I think we might be able to start moving into some fancier colors. Mostly a lot of metallic work on this thing. All right. Make sure we get the brush rinsed out real good. We're gonna ruin mini brushes on this model. Use a little bit of brush soap. Try and get those bristles cleared out because I let the paint get a little bit farther up them than I wanted to. But it's fine. These are cheap Hobby Lobby brushes. That's mostly what I use. I do have a couple of fancier ones. But for the most part, just cheap Hobby Lobby brushes. They work great for painting minis. Highly recommend. Like, you don't have to have the super fancy sable whatever brushes. Just grab the ones from Hobby Lobby or the dollar store or Joann's. I guess Joann's is closed now, so can't really get them there anymore. But let's get on to some metallics. I've got Leadbelcher around here somewhere. And I don't do non-metal metal. That just sounds like a massive amount of effort for what it is. I mean, it looks really cool if you do it right when it's done. But just not necessarily my cup of tea for how I want to spend my time. And for like larger areas, like larger metal areas, I prefer dry brushing on them. Sometimes you can get like really cool streaky metal effects that look really good. And then, as we get this painted up, we'll go in and, touch up our black paint where it needs to be touched up. But I mean, you can see there, just a little bit of dry brushing doesn't take a whole lot. And it just like really brings that out. And like I said, doing dry brushing, you get like little strings and stripes and striations in it, so it just makes it look like kind of scraped up rough metal. And then we'll, go back in and do some edge highlighting in places where you've got sharper edges here and there. And I know a lot of these things, a lot of these spots will be covered up. You won't be able to see them once I get the rest of the armor plates on. But I don't care. I want to know that they're painted. But you can see the difference between, a little bit of dry brushing and just the base coat on there. Kind of working around that little ankle joint down there. Hey, 10x6, how's it going? Just saw you hop in. Hope you're having a good afternoon, evening, day, morning, whatever time of day it is for you. Ready for bed. Actually just wanted to prop in and see the progress. Well, started painting the legs since I got the base done last night. Although I'm very much looking forward to having this thing done, but I know it's going to take me a while because this is a very large mini. But your TikToks keep popping up in my recommended, and it's like you're working on. I understand you do commission painting, which I don't do, but it's like you got 87 different things that you're working on. I don't know if they're all current projects, but geez, man. And I will say, I too am a fan of Olight. I have one that I carry every single day in my pocket. I don't remember what it is. I think it's a Baton Mini. Only 5 at the moment. But yeah, TikTok Shop was having an amazing sell on the like the Baton Mini, and it is such a great little EDC flashlight that uses an 18650. I'd been shopping around for one for a while. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they're cheap and get the job done, but man, they last through some stuff. I deliver car parts, so I'll have shops that want to take a look at what, something I'm delivering, like an engine or something, and they pull out their little dinky pen light, and I pull out that little Baton Mini. I'm just like, bright light. I was like, oh, thanks. Yeah. Although I'm not quite sold on their little rechargeable red dot. I don't know. I'm very questionable on that one, whether it can, is as effective as they claim it to be. No, you have a good night too. Thanks for stopping in. Great seeing you. I'm sorry the base is in the way, so you can't really see what I'm doing, but I mean, it's just the bottom of his foot that nobody's hardly going to see anyway. And this is going to take a lot of touch up as I go through this thing, because I am being very liberal with my dry brushing on these joints and whatnot. I don't want to get too crazy over here where it's like super close to the ground, the terrain that I've done. A little too much paint on there still, because I don't want to mess up my terrain that came out looking so good. By making the ground silver under his feet. Try and keep this in frame where people can see it. That's probably my the biggest thing that I struggle with is making sure that, you know, this thing is in frame where people can see what I'm doing. All right. Think that's good for the metal dry brushing. I said I'm going to be doing a little bit of experimenting on this thing. Why? Because it's fun. And if I don't like it, I have the paint to paint over it. Okay, let's close up that lead belcher so it doesn't all dry out. And now I'm going to need a very fine brush as I get into my experimental stuff that I'm going to do. Excuse me. And there it is. Looking for my white scar. Because white scar is a very, very clean, bright white. And I'm going to use that in like some of these fine lines on here, and then go over it with like a bright blue wash to try and make it look like it's glowing with power. Possibly. We'll see how it works. Speak of the devil, there he is. Mr. Henry, how are you this evening? Is the missus enjoying the show? As I paint my little toy soldiers. Oh, scared him off. Or maybe not. I don't know how accurate TikTok is with the viewer count and who's actually watching. Okay, very carefully. Just in these little cracks here. Wipe off the little bit of extra paint that gets on there. Sometimes it's very difficult using a small brush. Especially in these like fine detail areas. And sorry, when I'm doing like super fine detail work, I end up getting a little bit quiet because I'm trying to focus on exactly what I'm doing in here. Trying not to mess these little lines up. Slay baddie. How are you doing this evening, child? If you're watching on Twitch, Phantom Fox is my youngest, who just commented. Slay baddie. How are you doing tonight, Dawson? Enjoying the show, making fun of your old man, painting little toy soldiers. Fix the lawnmower and a tiller, ready to go to bed. I probably would be too, if we are being perfectly honest. Especially if you work today. Because doing extra work at home after you get home is gonna make me a servitor and make you till up the yard. It's just the natural way of things. Helping out parents and loved ones. Alrighty. That's just about got it for our fancy bright white paint here. Just a little bit more, make sure we get it down in all the little nooks and crannies where we want our blue glowiness. And set this over here. And we're going to grab some of our Frostheart contrast paint. Because fortunately it does not take long for these paints to dry. Which is why you need to remember to close your paint pots so they don't dry out. Although this one's been sitting for a while, so it needs to be shook up. And you can see like all the pigment stuck to the bottom of it. And you get some of those little BBs or whatever they put in paint pots to help mix them up better. All right, I think we've got that thoroughly mixed. And I'll grab my contrast paint wash brush. And we'll get some of this contrast paint in over the white. And hope it gives the effect that we're wanting. Like I said, I'll do a little touch up around those grill slots with the black to get the color down in there where I want it. Just kind of flooding those areas with the contrast paint. And it doesn't have to be uniform because it kind of gives it that energy effect. At least that's what I think it looks like on the power weapons I'm done. How long do these take you to complete each one? For painting, for like a standard Space Marine, because I paint everything with a brush, I don't use airbrushes or anything. Just like all the Space Marines I've done, it's like 8 or 9 hours a piece. The only reason why I know that is because I live stream painting them. So I have a frame of reference of when I started to when I finished. So they take a while. This one, because it is a much larger model, is going to take me considerably longer to get this one painted. But see, we're already kind of getting that cool little energy glow in there. How's it going, Complicated Gaming? Doing well. Getting some more work done on the dreadnought. I hope you are having a good evening as well. All right. Putting finishing touches on that Arco to work on the next one. The Arco Flagellants. Flagellants, not flatulence. He's not running around farting across the battlefield. He's whipping people. Yeah, that thing looks really good. Did you figure out your flesh tones on that? Because depending on like what I'm doing, like a lot of them I did, like one of them I did like the Cadian flesh tone, and then I think I want to say Agrax Earthshade is what I shaded with. I did get some Gilliman flesh that I haven't tried yet. I'll probably use that on Helbrecht when I get around to painting him. But you know, I based the face and the arms and the Cadian flesh tone, and then did like an Agrax Earthshade wash, and then dry brushed more Cadian flesh tone after that dried, and it gets into all the little nooks and crannies and gives some good shading on the faces. So that's one way I did skin tones. And then for my sword brothers, I used the Gothor brown with some Agrax Earthshade, and then dry brush some more Gothor brown on them. And I think they turned out awesome. But we are working on this dreadnought tonight. Let's see if we can't clean up these grill lines. With our Abaddon Black. I forgot, somebody told me not to say that name because of his disagreement with Sigismund, the first Templar. But Abaddon Black is the color that I use to paint my Templars. Trying to be very careful not to get any down into those grid lines, just cleaning it up right to the edge. To have it fancy. I'm doing a lot of different method. I'm working brown layer that makes same brown with tan, progressively working them. Yep. I mean, I do like very basic methods. I know that there's like other ways to do it to get progressively lighter and lighter, to bring out more detail and more highlights. And, you know, just like non-metallic metal, you end up with a good looking mini, but I know a lot of those processes take a lot of extra time. And more power to you if you have the patience to do it. Hey, Dungeon Glizzy, how are you doing? Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I'm trying to get it down for a starter project. Yeah, it's like, because I knew I wanted to do Helbrecht without a helmet on, I painted so many faces over and over and over again. Because I didn't want him to have a helmet on until I got this guy done and got his eyes looking right. This will be the head for like my regular combat patrol marshal, but I think he turned out great. It's hard to see everything because it's so tiny and I can't really zoom in right now. I think I did mine just self a disservice doing nothing but helmets on myself. Like all of my initiates, it's only my neophytes that don't have helmets. All my initiates have helmets. It's like, okay, you've made it to initiate. You deserve to wear a helmet now. You're no longer just standard cannon fodder. So it's like all of my initiates are gonna have helmets. My intercessors are all going to have helmets. It's just going to be, you know, certain characters here and there. Like Helbrecht isn't going to have a helmet on. My marshal for the combat patrol won't have a helmet. Just, you know, a select few. And of course, all of my neophytes, because I think lore-wise, that's just how it's supposed to work. You don't get a helmet until you've proven yourself worthy to become a full-fledged battle brother. You have to survive long enough to earn a helmet. It's probably a horrible way to think about it. But hey, it's my army, so I can make up their lore however I want. Fair. Although I'm sure the sisters take great pride in their scars earned in the defense of the Emperor. In the Emperor's name. Sisters are a very cool army. There we go. I think that's a good powered up little engine effect right there. Nice little glow. Okay, Fada, I'm going to try and make a TikTok brownie recipe, so good night. Well, I hope that comes out well. I don't trust all the recipes I find on TikTok, but I wish you the best of luck and hope it's tasty. And if it calls for X-Lax, leave that ingredient out. Have a good night and sleep comfortably, child. Yes, do send pictures, and I'm hopefully you're gonna send pictures of the brownie, not the, X-Lax Benadryl aftermath. I look forward to your Snapchats when you send them, because I know that's the method you're going to send them to me. There we go. Got our nice little power booty on the dreadnought going on. I think that turned out pretty well. And I know I should learn how to do object source lighting. I think that would be easier with an airbrush, and I do not own an airbrush, so I just use my itty bitty tiny brush. Because finger painting is inefficient. Alright, we've got our powered up dreadnought legs. I think those look pretty good. Sorting your paints by the way they taste. I have not experimented with that, and I can assure you that I do not intend to. So I wish you the best of luck in those endeavors of sorting your paints by taste. Mine are mostly sorted in, how often I plan on using them. So my higher use paints for like all my armor colors and tabards and metallics are over here, easy to grab, and then my washes are like right on the other side. But the colors that I use most are easy to grab, and then I've got all my other odd fun colors off to the side. Okay, don't mess this up. Got our two little dots in there. Really appreciate that with the crayon constant. Oh, I mean, crayons are a completely different ball game. Favorite Primarch? Obviously Rogel Dorn. He was the one who created the defense that held off the demon hordes from invading Terra until help could arrive. So all respect to the Gene Father Rogel Dorn of the Imperial Fists and Black Templars. I'm obligated to say that since I'm going to be a Black Templar player if I ever finish painting this army. Because you'll notice this isn't a giant blueberry. Okay. Now we're going to continue with our black touch-up to get our metallics back off of our regular paint. And then man, I can't say that I'm a fan of the Imperial Fist colors. Like, who wants to run around in canary yellow armor? And I know it's not canary yellow, it's mustard yellow. But anyway, who wants to run around in yellow armor when you could have, you know, the same Primarch and the Templar drip? Much better than yellow. Salamander fan all the way. See, that's not fair because Vulcan is an eternal. So, like, he can come back at any point. Like, Rogel Dorn, there is some speculation that Dorn may return. There is a vision in the Fulgrim book by an Emperor's Champion. Said he was fighting alongside the Gene Father, Rogel Dorn. So I'm interested to see if Games Workshop is going to bring back Dorn. Although at the same time, with the way he got after Sigismund for his beliefs, I'm a little nervous being a Black Templar player or getting into the Black Templar army that Daddy Dorn's going to be very, very mad at the Templars. Yeah. But Vulcan does have an easier in-canon method to bring him back. It's just Dorn is missing. All they found was his hand. If they ever do a Marine army, that one I'll do for sure, mainly because it's fire. Yeah, salamanders bring the heat. A couple months ago, game store here in town was doing a tournament, a small 40k tournament, and a guy brought his salamanders in and was like super excited about them. Like, I don't blame you. Salamanders are definitely cool. Which I need to get back over to the game store. I got absolutely hammered at work for a while and haven't had a chance to get over there and hang out and talk with anybody or get any games in. We're in the middle of an escalation league and I kind of ended up having to drop out of it because I got so busy at work. I was always exhausted. Being an adult sucks. With the exception of having adult money. That's the good thing. Because having adult money means I get to spend ridiculous amounts of money on little plastic soldiers. Because these things are not cheap. I wish they'd make the prices on a little more reasonable, but it is what it is. If you have a product that's popular, you get to charge what you want for it. That's just the way the world works. And it's fair. I mean, I know Games Workshop is a very money-hungry company, but, I mean, they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into their projects over the years. And so they should be fairly compensated for it, but not excessively so. Yeah, just working on little touch-ups here and there. Mainly because I was a little excessive with the dry brushing. So I gotta rein those, that stray paint back in. But you gotta get the metallics done right. Metallics always look better. Depending on what you're doing, like large metallic areas look better when you dry brush them. Smaller, paint it on. So you get that nice, clean, finely crafted metal look. But that's just my opinion. You paint your minis how you want to paint your minis. You spent the money on them and you're pouring your talent into them. Who am I to tell you that you're doing something wrong? The way this mini moves sometimes kind of wiggles and wobbles makes me a little nervous, but I mean, he's solidly glued together, so I don't think I'm going to have any issues with him falling apart. At least I hope not. Oh, darn it. I meant to do these spots on the backs of his legs with the blue glow. Well, I'll have to fix that real quick, because I know I'll have to touch it up once I get it painted. So, bust that white scar back out again. And where did my highly detailed brush go? Go. That. Thin it out. Use plenty of water. Just right in these little lines right here. What time's it getting to be? Almost 9 o'clock. I have to watch myself now because I know I'm making good progress and like getting into it. So I don't want to lose track of time because I will, and then I'll, have people coming down here and be like, "When are you doing? Do you know what time it is? It's late. You need to go to bed. You have work tomorrow. You're training a new driver." I know all this, but I'm having too much fun and I'm making really good progress on my dreadnought. And it's starting to look really cool. But I have to be an adult, so I will attempt to keep track of the time. There we go. Get those filled in the way they need to be. Give that a moment to dry. Close up my paint so it doesn't dry out. That's my favorite thing to do, is leave paint pots open so my paint dries out, and then I get super irritated that I have to go buy more paint because I was a dum-dum and left my paint open. Okay, back to our contrast paint, again using the Frost Heart. And just letting it pool in there. Because we will go back and do some little touch-ups. Get that color only in those little lines. I just pulled a lot of the contrast paint into my brush right there. Just watch it suck out of the little ledge on this lid. But that's good. It lets me get it in there where I want it. So this thing looks like it's fully powered up and ready to go tickle something when I get it fully completed. Because who doesn't want some dreadnought tickles? All right, that can go back over there. And we'll continue working on little touch-up spots elsewhere on the Mini while those dry. I think that's probably what takes the longest to do on a Mini is, fixing all the spots where you got paint where you didn't necessarily want to get paint, but the method that you were using while you were painting just ended up spreading it over into those areas. I'm mainly talking about dry brushing in this instance. because dry brushing gets everywhere. At least for me it does. Painting somewhere earlier. There it is. Like, I noticed a spot that's just blatantly primer gray in here and needed to fix that. So, ankle spots. This little red dot of something that keeps getting on the mini, and I don't know where it came from. Like, every time I turn the mini around, I'll like brush it off or blow it away, and then I turn the mini, and there it is again. This little red dot. I think I finally got it taken care of that time, and it should not return. Here's another place I have to be super careful with my paint. Only touch up the spots that I intend to touch up. And I know some people are going to complain about my minis. Oh, your Templars are too clean. Like, they take honor in their battle, in their performance, in their appearance. Just like real Marines do. That's how I feel about it. So they'd show up ready for battle. Like, look at High Marshal Helbrecht. He wears gold Retributor armor. You know, so the whole battlefield can see him. So his enemies run towards him because he wants to fight. So I figure if the Templars march into battle looking pristine and pretty, I mean, I know they won't stay that way for long, that enemies will flock to them to soil their armor, and it will be soiled with the blood of their enemies. Okay, where was I? I don't know. Don't remember which toe I was painting. But it's fine. Because they all need to be done. Probably gonna like take pictures and post a TikTok of my progress for tonight, and so I can find the sound like she's got legs. She knows how to use them. Because I am an overgrown child, and that's how my brain works. But I think we're making some good progress tonight on this guy. I think he's turning out real nice. So, probably ready to go back and touch up the backs of the legs. Get that little powered up lighting back down in the grid where it belongs. But yeah, definitely coming along now. I said, sorry when I get into like high detail work and I quit talking. It is a bad habit. I know, I understand. But I'm focused. I'm locked in. Getting the thing done. Trying to be very careful not to get paint down into these grooves. Just going along that top edge. That way the power can be contained in the legs. Just like that. Clean it up a little bit. That looks nice. And along the inside of the leg over here, where I got super happy with my dry brushing, got paint everywhere. Random email coming through my phone, so if my camera shook, my cell phone is my camera. And it does a fantastic job as an overhead camera. And that's why Samsung is better than Apple. Again, I will start talking more regularly about other random things when I'm not super focused on not messing up my paint. There we go. Okay, now I can breathe and relax a little since I got that out of the way and can be a little bit more nonchalant with the smearing of the paint on the armor pieces. Apparently Sizzle GG is changing how they do their stream processing, in case anybody wants to know. You heard it here first, random email coming through my watch. If you use Sizzle GG, that's great for making like Call of Duty clips and whatnot. I have used it a few times, so I don't have to sit there and find my own game clips as I'm streaming. Like games like Call of Duty. Space Marine 2, though, I'll make notes of like when I have a cool string of gameplay and manually clip that out to make TikToks and YouTube shorts. But there are options out there for folks who stream video games to make clip compilations. I'm sure you've heard all the advertisements about Sizzle GG. I am not sponsored by them, but I know their service works because I have used it. So, products that I use and I enjoy and I deem worthy of mention, I will mention. You know, just like Factor meals. You see all sorts of people sponsored by Factor. Those things are good. They're expensive, but they're good. And keeps me, you know, well supplied with food, and I don't have to spend time cooking it. Check it in the microwave, 2 minutes. Ready to eat. Again, not sponsored, but hey, maybe if I mention them, you know, I'll be like, hey, this random streamer guy painting little plastic soldiers mentioned Factor meals. Maybe we should throw some money at him. I doubt that's how it works, but wouldn't it be nice? That way I could afford to buy more plastic. I'm surprised TikTok hasn't complained about me, like going AFK or absent. Like, oh, we paused your stream because we don't think you're doing anything. Maybe this is their way of saying sorry for, you know, community guidelining your video that shows a piece of plastic. My last couple of dreadnought progress clips that I've posted, for whatever reason, TikTok hasn't liked. It's like, it violates our community guideline standards. But why? I don't know, it does. They never give you a reason. Of course, I'm sitting here saying negative things about TikTok. They're probably gonna shadow ban me now. But it's fine. I have other platforms I use as well. Twitch and YouTube. Which is probably the real reason they community guideline me, is because I'm promoting my other social media channels on Twitch and YouTube. It's like, no, you must stay and only watch on TikTok. You are our content creator now. That's not how it works, bud. I post my content where I see fit. I just get the most interaction on TikTok. Which is why I continue to stream over here. In hopes that, if anything ever happens to me on TikTok, I mean, obviously I'll make another account. But, hopefully I can convince people to come join the Discord. Link is on Twitch. You can find me with the same username over on Twitch. Give me a follow over there. Same song and dance when it comes to YouTube. Use the same username over there. So, you guys know how to find me. So you can follow me anywhere. As long as it's Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok. But if you're watching on TikTok, that's where you go. If you're watching me on Twitch or YouTube, you obviously already know about my Twitch and YouTube. All right. Oops. I was about to say, I think I'm done with the touch-ups, and then I notice a massive spot that needs a touch-up. Because at some point, I am going to have to start edge highlighting this guy. And I'm not looking forward to it, because it's going to take forever. But this is a fairly small section of the mini. So it shouldn't be too bad. But we've definitely got some fancy looking dreadnought legs going so far. I'm liking that. Okay, let's do one more quick spin. Looking for spots I need to touch up, just in case there are any. Not seeing any. Maybe just a couple of spots for good measure. But I don't think I actually needed to do that. All right. Let's do that. And we're gonna do our little Crusader seal on the back of the leg over here. Why? Because I added all sorts of extra little bits and bobbles onto this guy to make him look cool. And I know I'm not going to need any more than this much paint for this Crusade seal. And very carefully, we'll apply our red. Trying not to get any extra paint in places we don't want it. What is a Templar without his crusade seals? And our honored brother deserves many seals. Making sure we get all the little folds covered up real good. And we will do some other highlighting on them when the time comes. But making sure we get that nice vibrant red of our corn red. Painting black Templars and all the colors are demonic. Corn red, Abaddon black. But that's how GW has to market their paints. So I understand. There we are, our first crusade seal on our dreadnought. There's a Mephiston or Templar black contrast. I know there's the black Templar contrast, and I do want to try it sometime. I don't, I might use it, get some and, use it on the GW freebie just to see how it works. But it's like I've gotten so many painted with the Abaddon black so far. Just I'm gonna keep using that just so I've got uniformity of color. What is on my base? I'm sorry if you're blowing into the microphone. I have this little white thing that is not coming off of my base. There. Randomness sticking to my base. Okay. That's looking nice and thoroughly red. And as I said, I have to be very, very careful when painting the red that I don't get other paint where I don't want it. Smeared some on the armor right under the crusade seal. And I'm hoping the new Black Templar unit speculation is somewhat correct, not just like a chaplain in Terminator armor or something. I hope we get our own like special Terminator Sword Brothers or something. Because I hate the Terminator helmets. Like if you put if you got a Terminator with the standard helmet and power claws, it looks like a giant space mole. Just my opinion. Go look at a picture. You can't unsee it now that I've said it. I don't want to. I don't want giant space moles. Yeah, but then yeah, Grey Knight helmets are awesome, but everybody knows they're Grey Knight helmets. And if I had a resin printer, I might find some, 3D print files and go that route, but I don't have a resin printer yet. Still trying to whittle the wife down on allowing that purchase. It may happen someday. Okay. So, hold on. That's dried. I'm going to do a quick wash with some Blood Angels Red. Blood Angels Red Contrast. I know it's not a wash, but contrast paints are washes. I'm sorry. It is what it is. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. So, contrast paints are washes. And this is why it takes me 57 years to paint minis, because I use 87 different paints on the tiniest little inconsequential details constantly. But it makes me happy, so I'm gonna do it. It just adds that little bit of extra depth to it. As I drop my paintbrush through my paintbrush holder. Gotta let that dry a minute so I can do the edge highlighting with some Evil Sun Scarlet. So work on getting that shook up a little bit while I shake my whole desk and make the camera go wobble all over the place. Still looking slightly damp. But I can't help myself. I get impatient. I must paint more. I'm gonna do all the painting as fast as I can. More paint. very, very carefully. Gonna catch in that edge. All these little flips and folds along the seal. That's looking nice. There you go. That's a fancy looking Crusader seal. Turning out very nice. He's very nice. Yeah, they need more Terminator helmet variety. For sure. Stupid space moles. Okay. Now we need some Corax white. For a couple of spots here and there. Corax white is not looking so hot. Looks better, but still not amazing. Fortunately, I don't have to use tons and tons of it at this point. I am going to get quite a bit out here because there's a piece on the dreadnought that I do want to paint white, other than just the text on the seal. Sure, our paint is nice and thinned out for this part to make sure I don't have excessive amount on the brush. As we add the sacred texts to our Crusader seal. There we are. Now, and there is a piece on here. Hi, honey. That I'm going to do in the Corax white. So I have to be very careful. A along the outside edges. Again, sorry, I get quiet when I'm doing super fine detail work.
So all they see is
Huh? It happens. I'm old and blind, gotta get really close to it. Okay, now I can use a slightly larger brush to paint the main part of that panel.
oh no, oh, you were perfectly fine when you were in there.
I'm going to be very careful to keep this paint as smooth as possible because Games Workshop whites are fairly chalky at times. Make sure you're nice and thin on your paints. I'm doing whites, and it will take a couple of coats to get them done properly. Just be patient and allow the paint to dry a little bit between coats, and you should be fine. I've also found that alternating directions between coats also seems to help avoid some of the chalkiness as you paint. So it's like one time I'll go, left to right, and then I'll go front to back. And it seems to do a fairly good job at hiding your brush strokes and keeping the paint from looking too dry and chalky. But there we are. We officially have some pretty good looking dreadnought legs so far. But it is getting fairly late and don't want to start doing edge highlighting when it's getting this late because I know it takes forever. So I think that's probably where we're going to wrap it up. I will get some progress pictures taken and posted on TikTok and Discord. That way everyone can see what we got done tonight, and my camera is refusing to focus. Thank you, sir. I think we're making good progress on it. Of course, the piece that I really need to get done is this one. I started base coating it, but it was just taking forever. And while the base dried, since the base was dry tonight, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start working on the legs and get some progress done on that. So I have, a little something to showcase. But guys, thank you for coming by and watching tonight. I very much appreciate it. Depending on what happens with the Dungeons and Dragons group, we may be playing on Thursday, we may not be. I don't know yet. If we're not playing D&D on Thursday, then we might be back for another painting session. If we are playing D&D on Thursday on Twitch and YouTube, you can find me over there, or find us over there if we're playing D&D, and hang out and watch. Unfortunately, during those streams, I can't interact with the audience as much. It doesn't make a lot of sense to do it on TikTok, so it's kind of a Twitch and YouTube only thing. If there was a way for OBS to go straight to TikTok, I would probably work on that bit more to get D&D over there as well, but it just doesn't happen. But again, thanks everybody for coming by and hanging out, and we will definitely see you next time. So, have a good evening.